Today it's time for a Void Dragon conversion video. However, not the new one. This one right here that I made 7 years ago. And it's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. And if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about Necrons and more, then please subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Right, we have the brand new Void Dragon miniature, and during the unboxing video which I previously made, I started talking about this guy here, which I made 7 years ago. He's converted from a Nightbringer. I have a whole series of videos, 7 videos in total, dedicated to converting this Void Dragon. And I have to be honest, I'm incredibly proud of the work that I did here. A lot of work, a lot of thought and thinking on how to do it, and well, I'm really happy with the results. Now I know, of course, we've now got a new Void Dragon, but I thought, how about I take all of those old videos from 7 years ago and edit them together so we end up with one video. 7 years ago you couldn't upload a video more than 10 minutes, and of course I've edited the video so there's less rambling and also less ums and ahs. Now there are still some and ahs in the video, but not quite as many as there was, and of course it's recorded on my really old compact camera. The sound's okay, a bit crackly, and of course I've got a bit of a shaky cam. It's retro, it's 7 years ago. However, I really hope you enjoy it, and of course let me know in the comments box if you do. Do 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 do. Catan time. Do 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 do. Catan time. Nick speaking. Yes, it is Catan time. Citan, Catan, however you want to say it. It is time. So I have my Nightbringer there, and I also have my Deceiver, the Star Guards as they once were. Now, well, just Catan shards, so they're basically excuse me, they're basically just a minor inception of what they used to be, their former glory. But you know, that's just the new fluff, and we don't really care about that. As far as we're concerned, these are the Star Guards. So I currently have these two, and because I had inspiration from Fritz 40k to do a Catan challenge, which is where basically you had 3 Catans in the list. This guy here, I got this guy off of eBay just to do the challenge. He's okay painted, he's alright, but he needs all the mould lines taken off and a new paint job. But the reason for this video is because I want to convert this guy up. Had a look on Google for some images and stuff. There's really not that much out there, you know, things like some of them just clouds. Obviously they can be in any form you like, of course, because they do change form, but I've heard of a sort of a humanoid female form for one of them, and I've heard of one with wings but they're actually attached. They're like floating wings, and yeah, one of them just is basically a cloud, which obviously is no good for me. So yeah, I need to convert this up because I'm really keen to have a go at playing these 3 minis again, and I'd love to have this one converted so it looks totally different. So yeah, I got a email from NightyC, and he sent me some links, and one of those links was a picture which is just absolutely perfect. Now, after I uploaded the video previously, I had to think about what I wanted, and I sort of almost decided I wanted to go for the Void Dragon. I had a look in my bits box, and I came up with this head, which I think is from a Demon Prince, which is in my bits box. I thought that would be quite cool. And I also sort of, as I want to use this as the like shooty Catan with the thunderbolt, I was thinking about having lightning coming out of it somehow, either out of its mouth or out of a hand or something like that. So that's what I was sort of thinking, and when I saw this picture from 90C, I was just thought, wow, that is absolutely perfect. Let me just show you this picture. So hopefully the light's gonna, here we go, look at that. Now, for me, that's almost exactly what I was thinking about. Like some sort of demon-y type head, you've got the arms there, the hands, the lightning coming out. It's still floating with the draping cloaky thing, which I think I'm going to be able to convert that somehow. And it's got this like leg stuff. I think it looks awesome. I think this is exactly what I'm going to base my katana on. So thank you very much, 90C. I really appreciate your efforts and finding me the picture and emailing me the link. You did that out of your own time, and I appreciate that. So I've been looking at converting this a little bit more, and one thing that I've found is this. Now this is a Reaper miniature that I won on Mad Golem's channel a little while back. I didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but I think I've just found the perfect thing. It's going to help me convert this katana. So let's have another look at this picture. Now let's have a look at his hand. So his hand is doing that, and well, for me, very, very similar to that. So I think that's going to look really good. So I'm going to use that hand, I'll use that arm. The other arm is going to be the one that's got the thunder, like lightning coming out of it. I don't want lightning out of both arms. I know this picture does, but for me, you know, the thunderbolt is just like a one-shot wonder, so just one piece of lightning. So yeah, that's going to be pointing out. So that'll be pointing out on this side. Well, that'll be going up that side. This will be pointing out that side. And then his feet are actually, well, you can see it with the light where it's white, but basically he's got feet similar to that, not as big. But I was thinking of extending down this leg. Obviously I'm going to have to beef this model up, but yeah, beef it up, extend the leg down, and then attach bottom of that. That would give me this like, well, claw-y type foot. So yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing. So it's going to involve some green stuff. I'm probably going to chop this like off, probably having it on a flying base, so it's like more floating in the air maybe. And it's just sort of concept ideas at the moment, but I'm very, very excited about doing this, and really looking forward to it. So the first job is going to be to strip the paint off. So I went out today because I ran out of materials, and I bought myself cheapest nail polish remover that I could find. So I'm going to put him in this little tub, lay him down, and I'm going to cover him in this nail polish remover, which I found to be, I mean, I know you can use detox, but I've personally found that nail polish remover does the job better, certainly on metal models, because I always find that the detox makes the models go, I suppose, almost like gooey, goes sticky. It's okay for plastic, but for metal. So he's in there. Now he's not covered, so I'll probably just add a bit of water to that just to build it up a bit. I might even break, actually I'll probably just break it down, break the base off, because I don't need the base, lay him down flat. Soak him for a couple of days, get the toothbrush out, get all that paint off, and then I can start chopping the arms and heads off and start the conversion work. So I shall be back when I've got some more progress on that. It's been in this nail polish remover for 48 hours. Have a look. Right, so as you can see, the polish remover has basically sort of taken all the glue off, so it's all come to bits. But what I'm going to do is take this out, and I'm going to get a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and I'm just going to wipe it off basically, the brush. And as you see, it's coming off very, very easy. As well as using the brush, I'm going to use a cotton wool bud. That also can work. You can just sort of wipe it off literally like so. So I'm going to continue to do that and get all of the paint off. Now, one thing to bear in mind with this nail polish remover is only for taking metal off. So if you put plastic in here, it will make the plastic go all funny. So yeah, metal only in this particular solution. Okay, so I'm going to finish that up and then I'll come back. Okay, so there you go, that's all of that paint stripped off. So yeah, I just worked on it for a few minutes. I put it back in for another 10 minutes once I got the bulk of it off, and then I got the little bits off. and then I just washed it in some soapy water. So that's all done. Now this was in quite a bad state really, because none of the mould lines have been taken off, so I need to file all the mould lines off. I'm going to pin the body section on, and then I can start to do my conversions. So I'll be back when I've got some more done. Right, so that's all the main conversion bits done. Just need to put it together and green stuff it now. So just to refresh, this is what the look that I'm going for this Catan, this Void Dragon. So let's have a look at the head itself. I had that demon head previously. So what I did is I cut the two horns off, I reshaped the top of the head, put two little pins in there, you can see that, and drilled a hole in the bottom of the horns, made them a bit shorter, so they're going to go into there, if I can get the hole, so they'll be in like so. I'll put this all together in a minute, you can have a look. And then on the arm I've put the lightning in. That's the lightning for the thunderbolt. I've also drilled a hole into that, and on the main body put a pin here, pin for the head, pin for the other arm. This is the other arm, that's again got a hole in there ready to go. And then on the body I've pinned this and glued it together. I've also cut off all of these sections down here. Now originally I was talking about just like chopping this off, having it on a flying stem, but I don't think I'm going to do that now. I mean, going back to the picture, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have his like cloaky thing just basically overlapping this section and coming down, and then coming down the back, and then I'm still going to have him on this stem. So that's why I've cut all this off. I've also had to take fired this section out here because this was his leg. So that underneath here his leg's supposed to be hidden, and you can see his like foot and stuff. So I fired all that out so I can reshape it. I've basically just lobbed all that off and just like flattened it down. So I'm ready to go. And then for the base, because I obviously needed the base to be different, I just I sawed off the scarab section. And when I put this in here, I want him to be more upright, unlike the Nightbringer, where he's like leaning quite a bit forward. This guy's got to be upright, so that's what I'm going to do for that. So yeah, I'm just going to put them together. I won't glue them, so I've got to green stuff all the chest to make it bigger and stuff first. But I'll just put it into place so you can have a quick look at what it's going to be like. Okay, so I've just put him into place. Can't really touch him, he's a bit fragile there, so it's only just resting in that base. But you can see the concept. I've got his arm up, just like there. The other one's got the thunderbolt out, just like I wanted. The head, and it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. I think it's similar enough. And then the body, I'm going to beef this up. I do plan on doing this like section here with the almost like, I don't know, maybe that's where the electric's coming from, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm probably going to do that. Hopefully I'm going to paint these in similar colours to this as well. So yeah, should look good hopefully when it's finished. I've got his leg as well, which is going to go on, well, it's either, once I've green stuffed that extra leg section in, it's either going to go there, or I might end up extending it. I'm not really sure at the moment, to see how I get on as I get that far and I beef up his body, etc. Now unfortunately, the first part of this video I've accidentally deleted the first clip, which I'm gutted about, but basically in the first clip I explain that I'm using this grey stuff from Gale Force 9 as opposed to green stuff, but I will be calling it green stuff. I also show the first section of green stuff that I've done. I also explain that I had to take out the little pins from the model as well that I had in the previous video, because after I beefed it up it sort of started to cover the pins, so I took the pins out. I shall re-pin it. So what I'll do is I'll go straight on now to the second clip of that video so you can have a look and see my progress. Okay, so that's the next bit of green stuff done. So what I've done is I green stuffed around the base of the horn just to match them in, and I've put the first section of the back of the head of this guy on, just to curve it out, make it the correct shape. just glued in the lightning onto that, and I've started to trim down the muscle slightly. Not a huge amount, but just re-trim it. I'm hoping a little bit of trim here plus the beefing of the body is going to make the correct proportions. Right, so let's have a look at my other green stuff. Okay, so the front's pretty much the same, but you'll notice here and here it's beefed up a little bit more because I've completed the back, or at least the first coat of the back. So there you go, right up to the shoulders as well, and the head section. So yeah, hopefully now I'm going to put this on, but there you go, much better proportions I think now. So yeah, the next step is going to be to pin both arms on and the head. This is all wet at the moment, so I need to let it dry. But yeah, I'm going to pin those on, and then I'm going to go back over the final coat of green stuff. Okay, so I'll be back when that's done. Okay, here we go. So I've glued those bits on, and I've done 2 sessions of green stuff since I glued them on. So just take a quick look, I'll run through what I did. So after I glued the arms on, I basically went around the joints on both sides, and then this section of the torso here I just extended up and brought it down into this like shape, just to make this top section match in with the size of the arms really, and extended that round to the back area. So again I did the shoulders here, extended this out just to make it a bit more beefier. Seems to come out quite well. The neck section here is just well, it's just about right really as it was. I also had to go around here, just around the top here, if you can see this bit on the drapey clothy thing, where I'd obviously cut that off, the piece that was going around the back, I had to remould it. So I remoulded the top of the cape on this side, around the edge there, and all the way down the back here. Still have a little bit more work to do. This is still a bit wet, so I still need to go into this area and just tidy this little piece up. I think both sides need it to be done. Maybe this joint here, and then I'm pretty much done for this section. Right, there you go, so I've just done some more green stuff. I went over this section just down the base of the ribs here. I redid the sides of the ribs as well on both sides, needed a bit more work. I reshaped this a little bit more. Went over the back as well, added some more here and reshaped this down. So I think that's it for now really. I think I'm going to move on to the next stage, which is going to be the part 4 where I do the leg section, and then finally prepare to do the cape and the last part of the video. What I'm going to do now is just get my Nightbringer back out for you so you can have a closer look. So there you go, it's looking totally different now. And also on the back, there you go, where I've taken all those capes and stuff off his back. So really looking like a different model. Very, very happy with him so far. Pretty excited about this this project. So this is the work that I've done so far that you've seen in my previous videos, and in this video we're going to start work on the leg. So this is the leg from this original model that I had, which is a Reaper model, Reaper Bones, and this is the leg from that model. So where the model was quite short, what I'm finding now is the knee joint is basically in the wrong place. I mean, it just looks ridiculous like this. So I think what I'm going to have to do is cut it off at the knee joint and extend the calf muscle down so that it's longer, just so that it sits in and it matches the rest of the model. So I'm going to do that first, see if I can get roughly the right idea, and then before I work on the leg, I'm going to have to work on the inside of this, ready for the cape to go round. Okay, so I'll come back when I've got some work done. Right, that's the work on the leg done so far. So this is the original top leg. I actually cut it off in the muscle, the calf muscle, rather than below the knee. Extended that down, put a piece from the other leg in there, and put the foot on the end. And yeah, basically the pin's going right the way through this middle section, up into that leg, down into the foot. I bent the pin down because originally this was level, but just like on the picture, I sort of want it dangling downwards. Unsure whether I'm going to do the extra toes on the front there, make it a bit longer. I'll see how it looks on the model. But now I've got a much more natural looking foot. Just going to put it into the model. So I've drilled a hole into there for this pin to go into. So it's going to sit like that roughly. So I think that's about the right length. And obviously once I've filled this in, I'll then fill the top section in on the model itself. But yeah, so next I need to fill in this leg here and just shape it up a bit, just as a starting point. So I'm going to do that next, and then I'll come back. Right, there you go. So that's I've done two layers of green stuff on this leg, starting to take shape. I'd say I'll maybe have one more touch up, possibly two, just to get it perfect. But yeah, that's basically ready. Now, in terms of the actual model, this is obviously what I'm going for. So what I've done is I've made a very basic template up of just out of paper, roughly the sort of cloaky device, which I'm going to hopefully end up with, and just trying to work out how this is going to look on the inside of this Nightbringer's cloak. And basically, although I've been using a bit of the odd green stuff just to fill this in, I'm now going to fill this in before I put the leg on, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to work behind the leg. So yeah, just giving myself a rough idea of what it's going to look like. And next then I'm just going to basically clean all this up inside the cloak, ready, work on the leg slightly more, and then I'm going to glue the leg in. Okay, so that's all that section done. As you can see there, green stuff in the inside of the cloak that was needed. I've done another couple of coats on the leg, might have to do one more right at the very end, and then I've pinned the leg into position, so just got to green stuff this area at the top. Now as for the toes, where this was originally on a base, which I cut off flat, I've now reshaped the foot and cut out all of the toes. So I think it's looking alright actually as it is. I think it's in proportion. It's the original foot, which for the hand, so well, okay, that picture's got quite long toes, but I think that will do. Okay, so that's the leg done. I went over with the green stuff, got two coats, filled it in first with the basic stuff, and then I built up the detail. So I got this like muscle which is going along the leg, tried to match that in. I had to beef up the bottom side of the leg because it was a bit skinny at the top, so yeah, I made it faster. I think got the proportions quite nicely there. So that's that section done. Currently working on the cloak, pretty much the last thing to do apart from all the tidying up. So currently the Nightbringer cloak sort of dangles down, but as in the picture I want it sort of dangling sideways, like this way. So I've been gradually filling in this. In the previous videos you would have seen that, and now it's time to work on the cloak. So I've been putting a lot of thought into this before I actually do anything. I'm ready to do it now. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to saw this section off here, because when the cloak comes over here I want it to come down here, and I'm finding this is just, it's too long basically, so I'm going to saw this section off and tidy it up, ready for the cloak to come down. On the back I need to shape in the leg so that it doesn't look like it's just got one leg. You know, I need it to look like the cloak at the back he's got his leg. And to get the effect that I need of the cloak, because if I'm just going to have the green stuff cloak going on here, it's going to be quite flat. So what I was thinking of doing was shaping this with some green stuff, some almost like ridges going across here. So when I lay the cloak down and green stuff, it's going to be bumpy, and hopefully it might give that effect that it's sort of dangling down this way rather than straight down. So yeah, I'm going to work on that. I've also got this section here to clean up. I'm going to have to cut that off, file it all down, and then shape it all in with the green stuff, because the cloak here is going to be coming outwards, so I need this all to match him. Okay, so I'm going to do some work and then I'll come back. Okay, I thought I'd just show you this. So I've got my little hacksaw there, I'm gradually sawing through that little section. I've got my little tabletop pin vise here, making sure I've pinned him on a section which isn't going to get damaged. And yeah, that's how I've done it basically. So I'll be back when I've got some more done. Right, so just done some more work on this, and in the end I actually went in and green stuffed some longer toes, and to be fair I'm very happy that I did. I think it matches the image a little bit more, and I think it's just suits the model a little bit more. So yeah, I've also been in this section of the cloak on both sides. Obviously that's been cut off now. This is all wet, so I've got to be quite careful. Cut this off and just moulded this through. Got a little bit more work to do still. I've shaped in the leg, just in the back of the cloak here, so hopefully when the cloak goes over it's going to look more like his leg is just inside there. And I put those ridges in that I've talked about, so that when the cloak goes over, hopefully it will just give that sort of a wavy effect rather than being flat. So yeah, I'm going to let this fully dry now, go in, do a little bit more work, and then be time to do the main section, the cloak. Right, that's the final piece of green stuff done. So I basically went all the way inside this inside section, green stuffed all that through. I just tied up the edge, put a little piece here just to try and get rid of the ridges a little bit more. Added a little bit of green stuff going along here for the final ridge, and just tidied up that edge. So now I'm ready to go. I'm going to keep the original Nightbringer section here, so I've made a template up. This is basically what I've got to make out of green stuff now, which is the cloak. I used the original picture, or section of the original picture here, just to give me an idea of how the cape was going to look. But basically this is going to go around just below that Nightbringer section, and it's going to fold, obviously with those ridges, over here. This is going to fold in, and it's effectively going to be something like that, hopefully, when it's finished. Now, to get away from it looking too much like a skirt, I've gone in and I've got the original section on the Nightbringer. Now this here was like the robes that was attached to his arm, so I've cut the arm off and the hand. I've fired it all down, put a bit of green stuff in. I had to go in and twist it into the right position, but the plan is to have this going around its waist like that. I think that just gives a little bit extra sort of flappy section to the top, just maybe just stops it looking like a skirt basically. So I think that's going to work well once I've done that. So yeah, now the hardest part I think, and that's going to be green stuffing this cloak. So let's have a go, see how I get on. Right, there you go. So that is on. Now it was tough, but it wasn't tougher than I thought it was going to be. So that's good. I mean, I've never actually done a cape or anything like this before, so it's the first time. I mean, I've done a fair cape, but totally different to this. But yeah, I'm pretty happy how it's come out. It's not perfect. I've got a bit of an air bubble in here which I had to sort out and stuff. So this is still wet, so when this dries I'll obviously have to go back over. Still a reasonable amount of work left to do on this mini though. I still have to do, at the top of this capey thing, I'm going to do like a fill-in section. I forgot that wavy thing that I showed you earlier to go on there as well. Clean up this cloak. I'll just show you around the back. Those bumps, well, the like ridges that I tried to do, I mean it came out okay. I think it does help give it that, you know, when it's standing up here, it does help it look like it's waving around more. I mean, without those it's just going to be laying down flat, might look a bit silly. So I'm pleased that I did those ridges. So this is what I have so far, converting a Nightbringer into this. It's really starting to take shape now. Yeah, so in the last video I did this cloak. So next up I need to tidy the cloak up. There's like a air bubble and stuff in there, so I need to basically just tidy all this up. Maybe try and sort out this little join down here if I can, and then on the back where I put those ridges in, I'm going to try and sort of make these match into the cloak a bit more if I can. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I've also got this section which I've got from the original Nightbringer with one of his arms, and this is basically going to go around the top of the like cloaky thing, just to disguise the join a little bit. So that's going to go in here, and I'm going to squeeze it together like that, and then running alongside that the other section which I've already showed you in the previous video, again from the Nightbringer's arm. I'm going to have this hanging something like that, just to give a bit more depth to it so it doesn't look like a skirt. I think it's going to work well, but first up I need to do some more work on this now that it's all dry, so I'll be back when I've done that. Right, so I've just done some work on this. So first of all I went in and I've covered up that join where the original model was, so hopefully now it looks more like a cloak draping round. Covered in this, just a basic cover, because obviously where the old model joins the cloak, so that's just basically just covered through. And then on this side I've added in the ridges. This is just the first coat, this is all wet, so I've got to tidy this up. But I've basically extended the ridges that I had up and around for the cloak to try and match it in. Now I figured on this side it's going to be much more wavy because of the way the cloak is than the other side. So the other side I've actually left it how it was. So I think it would be flatter. And just imagine the wind like coming this way, like, and it would just basically just like push it down and flat. So imagine that being much flatter than this side, where I think it would just be like more wavy as the wind sort of caught hold of the cape. So that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, I'm going to let that dry, do a bit more work, and I'll come back. Okay, there you go, just done some more stuff. Re-went over the join on that section. Over here I've tidied this all up, refilled some of the ridges, so I'm pretty happy how they're looking now. And then over this side I filed out the air bubble and any other little sections, so pretty much done there. So next I'm going to use these pieces which you've previously seen. These are from the Nightbringer's arms where the cloak was draping around, so I cut them off, reshaped them. I'm basically going to use them around the waist to extend the cloak up, so that it just looks a little bit better really. Okay, so I'll do that and come back when it's done. Right, that's the first piece I put on. So what I did, I basically glued this section, it goes right the way round. I green stuff in the ends because I wanted it to match the cloak. So yeah, green stuff that end, and then it goes right the way round, covers all the joins from the cloak to the middle section. And then I had to green stuff in this because it wasn't quite long enough. What I'm trying to achieve is this sort of middle drapey section to be like similar to the original model, and then where it comes out on the edges to match in with my cloak, so it gives you a bit of well, basically just that matches in. So I've also been working on the second piece which is going to go in there, which is here, and again I've just been green stuffing the end, reshaping it. It wasn't quite long enough, and that's all drying, so everything's wet there. I've been looking at the base. Now, as you probably remember, I was originally going to use this. This was the original section of the Nightbringer where I cut off all the scarabs. But where the model's been beefed up, and also it's standing upright compared to the original Catan, by the time I put it on here it's like huge. It's about an inch taller than the original Nightbringer. So I've abandoned this idea. I'm going to take this off and I'm just going to actually stand him on the base so that he's a bit lower to the original Nightbringer. So I'm going to work on the base while this is all wet, and then I'm going to glue this on, and then I'm going to work on the joining section of where this glues on. So I'm going to do some of that and I'll be back. Right, there you go, so I just stuck that piece on. I went over here and I basically green stuffed it down so that it goes underneath that little cloaky piece. The idea is that this cloaky section here goes down and underneath, and is supposed to be the original Nightbringer's thing that's inside that cape, so that the whole section is one piece. Seems to work quite well. So that's that done. I will need to go over this just one more time just to clean it up slightly. I've also gone in and I've done the base, and this is what I've done to the base, like so, basically a few rocks and stuff. I made some green stuff crystals. I'll have a video, a tutorial video on how to make green stuff crystals. So yeah, go and check that out if you're interested. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to stick him on there and let you have a closer look at him all finished. Right, there you go, there he is, all finished. Puts him on the base, he's not glued, he's just standing on it. Yeah, I'm very happy how he's come out. I have to say, I'm really pleased. I certainly had great fun making him. This is the original picture which I was basing him on. As I explained in the first video, I only wanted one lightning coming out because I'm going to use him as the Thunderbolt lightning one. Just get my original Nightbringer, That's how he started life out, and yeah, he's looking really different. This Nightbringer here I'm going to put onto one of these Cadian bases. I'm going to take this base off, well, I've had this mini for ages, and that was one of the old bases that I used. Just turn him around so you can see the back. But yeah, it's looking suitably different. I mean, you can hardly recognise him as a Nightbringer. It's only these middle capey bits which are actually visible. So yeah, very, very different. I'm really, really happy how it came out. So yeah, that's it, all done. And next up, obviously, I've got to get him painted. Right, there you go, my boy dragon finished, painted, all done. So I really hope you like him. But yeah, I'm very happy how he's come out. So what I did first, I did a few test runs with this little leftover piece that I had from the model with the arms. Just basically got a rough idea of how I was going to do it, and then I went straight in. Worked out pretty well from the off. But I basically based him with Rakarth flesh. I then went in and highlighted with Pallid Witch flesh, did some Devlin Mud wash, more highlights of this, another watered down wash, done a bit of highlight with some bleach bone, and then a very, very small final wash over the top. Just built the colours up so that the top area here is actually much lighter than down below. So just built the highlights up really. I printed out a higher quality image of what I had, just so I could match the colours in. And the tones, you can see there's various tones from really dark to really light. So yeah, I just tried to match that in as best I could. I did decide on the lightning here though, rather than going for white, I matched the lightning into his chest piece, because I just thought it's just sort of, I mean, why would he have this lightning thing in here? So for me, that's like generating the lightning and then it comes out his hand. So yeah, that's what I went for. The cloak I did in what I call my Blood Angels red. So if I was ever going to do Blood Angels army, this is how I'd paint them, although I would do more highlights. But basically I went in with Mechrite red base, and then Bal red wash, and I then did Devlin Mud wash, although a watered down version, back over with Bal, and then a highlight, roughly 3 layers of highlight of blood red, just to build that highlight up. So yeah, very happy how he's come out. I really hope you like him. Just going to get my other Citan out so you can see them. There we go, that's the Nightbringer, which is obviously what this model is based on. And quite interesting really that the Deceiver is a lot smaller than Nightbringer. I didn't really realise that because I was using the Nightbringer as my sort of base model. But yeah, this is actually quite a bit smaller, but still he matches in quite well. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed that, a bit of nostalgia. Now if you want to see me unbox the new Void Dragon miniature, then there it is in that playlist of me unboxing all of the new Necron miniatures that we've recently had. Beam me up!